Hello, my name is Zamizi. My metric number is 823-82387. I'm going to be presenting about introduction of Abuya Steamboat Restaurant, Kota Baru. Abuya Steamboat Kota Baru is a popular dining spot in Kota Baru, known for its delicious steamboat cuisine, offering a wide variety of fresh ingredients and flavorful broth. Abuya Steamboat provide a unique and enjoyable dining experience for families and friends. With its welcoming atmosphere and high-quality food, it has become a favorite destination for local and tourists alike who are looking to enjoy a hearty and interactive meals.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Shafa Shazwina binti Khairul Anwar. My metric number is 823-82336. For the entrepreneur background, based on our group's research, our group has selected an entrepreneur from the Abuya Steamboat and Grill business. Abuya Steamboat and Grill, located in Kelantan, Malaysia, is a thriving dining establishment known and its unique combination of steamboats and grill cuisine. This interview was conducted by the supervisors of this restaurant, Muhammad Firdaus bin Muhammad Tramizi. The educational background of this restaurant supervisor is that he has diploma in electrical technology from Bachok Vocational College. He has worked as a supervisor of this restaurant for 5 years. This restaurant has two owners, Mr. Zainuddin and his wife, Mr. Siti Fatimah binti Haji Nawi. As for the education background of this owner, Mr. Zainuddin has a diploma in sport and his wife has a diploma in business. How the restaurant started is from the owner of the restaurant, Miss Fatimah. She is the first child and his father has started the business since she was a child. So, before they opened this restaurant, they already had another business. It can be said that they are very expert in the field of business. The factor that led to the creation of the business was that the owner of this restaurant, Miss Fatimah, was very interested in the business field from a long time ago. This is because she often saw her father opening a business and her father's business gets a very encouraging response. This Abuya Steamboats and Grill restaurant was opened based on Mr. Zainuddin's ideas also because Mr. Zainuddin's origins are in Thailand. In Thailand, they are famous for food like steamboats. So Mr. Zainuddin tried to open a steamboat restaurant in Kelantan to introduce this food to Malaysians.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nur Amira binti Mahsan. My metric number is 823AY500. The entrepreneur before starting the venture. Abuya Steamboat and Grill Company located in Wakaf Syekh Kelantan. That he had the inspiration to start his business by opening a steamboat shop. This is said to be so because at the time Kelantan was still less famous for steamboat food and also there were still not many competitors. According to the supervisor, the steamboat branch before Abuya Steamboat and Grill was established in 2018 that its competitor only has two branches in Kelantan. Steamboat and Grill's company took the opportunity to open his own branch around Wakaf Syekh, which is located near the big city of Kota Baru. Working experience. The working experience for the owner of Abuya Steamboat and Grill, which is Mr. Zainuddin and his wife, is that they have experience working through the family business. Before establishing their own business, the owner of the shop, who is known that Mr. Zainuddin, previously worked as an ice seller and a fish seller. Fatimah only worked based on the family business. Therefore, it's not surprising that with a family background that is interested in the business, Mr. Zainuddin and his wife started to set up their own shop. Role model. The owner of Abuya Steamboat and Grill also emphasizes resilience in himself and his employees. A notable example that can be seen as follows by a good example from the owner of the shop is that he practices prayer. This is said to be so because based on Mr. Firdaus on experience, more restaurant owners do not emphasize the importance of resilience in themselves. Therefore, it is not surprising that many employees always have problems in doing their jobs. However, according to Mr. Firdaus, When he started working with the owner of the Abuya Steamboat and Grill restaurant, he was very attracted to Mr. Zainuddin's personality because he placed the importance of vigilance in everything, especially in doing his job. Entrepreneur activities. Abuya Steamboat and Grill is the shop that operates by selling seafood-based food, namely steamboat. But its more interesting is that his steamboat company also diversifies by selling other grilled-based food that consists of marinades such as lamb, beef, and chicken. They aim to attract more customers and also provide good customer service, especially to customers who are not interested in the seafood. Mr. Zainuddin intended to start his business since childhood. This is because he is very diligent in helping his family sell fish and ice at RTC. In the meantime, after Mr. Zainuddin grew up, he wanted to continue his family legacy to start a business. Nevertheless, even though Mr. Zainuddin only ventured into the sport diploma in his studies, his desires and passions to venture into the business field was also very strong in addition to having encouragement from his beloved wife and family. But what is even more amazing is that his wife, who already has a foundation of knowledge in business in her study, can to some extent help or become the backbone of her husband, Mr. Zainuddin, to open a steamboat and grill shop. Background. Mr. Zainuddin and his wife, Miss Fatima, has parent business background. Mr. Zainuddine's parents are from Batam, Thailand. However, this can be clearly shown from Mr. Fatima herself because they come from a family business where her father, Mr. Hajinawi, is also a successful entrepreneur in the business of selling fish. Therefore, with the business knowledge entirety of her father, it also became a booster for her daughter, Mr. Fatima, to venture into other business by opening the Abuya Steamboat and Grill Company.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Shafira binti Firman. My matrix number is 823-82328 and I am from group 6 and I will be talking about the primary motivation to start up the business. For our business, which is the Abuya Steamboat and Grill, we have interview with Mr. Fidaus, which is the, s- the supervisor of the steamboat and the Abuya Steamboat and Grill. In based on that interview, he stated that the owner of the Abuya Steamboat and Grill, which is Mr. Zainuddin, was built on his own desire to open up a steamboat restaurant at Kota Baru. As the place was located at the entrance of Kota Baru, it is a strategic place to open up a restaurant for the locals. His wife, Mrs. Siti Fatimah, was originally came from a family that does business, so it is familiar for them to open up a restaurant. Next, I will be talking about goals while setting up the business. Mr. Fidaus also added that Mr. Zainuddin's one of his main goals are to open up a steamboat restaurant because in Kota Baru, that area doesn't have lots of restaurant that provide steamboat. So he wanted to be one of the people that start up a steamboat restaurant. So he also planned to expand his steamboat business to another place. But for now, he will be running in that Kota Baru place only. Mr. Fidaus also adds that the owners, which is Mr. Zainuddin and Mrs. Siti Fatimah, also wanted to continue the family legacy on running a business because before this, their family ran a business, so they just want to continue their family legacy.
And then, for the resources that are available before startup. Before starting up Abuya Steamboat and Grill in Kelantan, several resources could be beneficial for planning and education, which is at first market research. For the market research, they understand the demographic preference and behavior of the target market in Kelantan. This could involve studying existing restaurants, conducting surveys, and analyzing trends in the food industry. Then, location analysis. Abuya Steamboat and Grill choose a strategic location for the restaurant based on factors such as foot traffic, accessibility, parking facilities, and proximity to competitors. The marketing strategy. Abuya Steamboat and Grill developed a marketing strategy to create awareness about the restaurant and attract customers, which could include the online promotion, social media marketing, collaboration with influencers, and traditional advertising methods. And for any networking, Abuya Steamboat and Grill Kelantan source its premium ingredient mostly from a strong supply chain network. Fresh meat, veggies, seafood, and other necessities are supplied by regional and local vendors in this network. Abuya Steamboat and Grill use a digital point of sales system that is integrated with inventory management as part of its technology integration. Real-time sales tracking is enabled by this technology, which also automatically modifies inventory levels and sends out alerts when suppliers are running short. Abuya Steamboat and Grill has established a robust consumer involvement networking, including many online reviews platforms, social media accounts, and a dedicated website. And then for controlling at the early stage of business, serious or not. One of the most important qualities that need to be an entrepreneur is that they need to respect their team. To receive good results from the workers, a manager needs to take control over the workers' activities. In other words, the controlling function can be defined as making sure the activities that the workers in the organization are performing their work as what the in plans. By being an entrepreneur, they are their manager. They need to control the function of the organization are being well, so it doesn't get misunderstood as being someone who always directs people to do work. Firstly, having controls make you feel safe. When they are under control, they are going to know what's going to happen, be able to predict the future, or even count the probability of the outcome.
Next one, we will be talking about the risk orientation at early startup for the business. As usual, starting up a business won't be an easy challenge and there will always race for the entrepreneur to face. According to Mr. Fidaus, when Mr. Zainuddin started up the business, he was in short for workers. Back then, on 2018, he only had 5 workers excluding himself. One works at the cashier, another one that is in charge for the service, and the other 3 works at the kitchen to prepare the foods. Mr. Fidaus also added that the new workers didn't last long because they tend to have weak mentals that mostly food and beverage workers need to have in their mind. The new workers are usually came from SPM candidates livers and they can't work for long in order to further their studies. Next risk that was faced by Mr. Zainuddin is when people around Mr. Zainuddin doesn't believe that opening up a steamboat restaurant will not give him lots of profit as the regular restaurant, and but Mr. Zainuddin was well aware that this business isn't going to give him much profit, but he he still wanted to continue this business as he have faith in opening a restaurant that not a lot of people knows, like the steamboat restaurant, and he believed that opening up a steamboat restaurant have will give him such profit that maybe not lot of people will know. Last but not least, when opening up Abuya Steamboat and Grill, Mr. Zainuddin didn't hire a person in charge for managing the restaurant and also the accountant to keep his restaurant expenses. Few years after that, after Mr. Fidaus was promoted to become a supervisor, then he was given the duty to manage the restaurant. For accounting purposes, his wife, Mrs. Siti Fatima, will be the one to handle the business account. By doing that, Mr. Zainuddin saved lots compared to hiring an accountant for his business. for the business plan. In that interview, Mr. Fidaus says that Mr. Zainuddin was planning to open up a new branch of Steamboat restaurant, but with tight budget, he can't do that for now for opening up a new steamboat restaurant. Besides Abuya Steamboat and Grill restaurant, they already opened up a coffee shop, and they take good care of both of their business very well as they take care of their workers and their customers. Topic for my presentation was the preparation for the entrepreneur to starting up the business, which is Mr. Zainuddin. He was very motivated to open up a restaurant with his wife, knowing that he has a whole family to support him, and he was aware of the failure that he will be faced to, but he did try his best to start up the business. Mr. Fidaus also says when the business is rising up, they manage to collect lots of regular customer that often came to eat at Abuya Steamboat and Grill around Kota Baru, and the furthest customer that came to his customer is from Besut, which is in Terengganu. Surely, by having regular customer, Mr. Zainuddin will not give up that easily, knowing that there's people around him that will go anywhere to grab meals just from his restaurant. Mr. Fidaus did share some of their best and worst moment within 6 years of running Abuya Steamboat and Grill. For the best moment, Mr. Fidaus says that they have reached their target, which they only target 12K, but somehow they managed to reach up to 14K. Usually, they will target within 5K and above, but the target was fulfilled thanks to their customers that eat there at the end of the year. From October until December, that it is the month that people will most likely to go to eat at the Abuya Steamboat and Grill. Sadly, for the worst moment is when COVID-19 attacks back in 2021. No one gets to go out from their house since it is restricted by the government, and when the virus happens, the sale just drops immediately. Luckily, Mr. Zainuddin still can go fishing, and that's the only sources for his income when the virus attacks. COVID-19 make demand for raw materials, so by fishing, he can still run the business like normally he did, because he has his own side work, because he need to handle Abuya Steamboat and Grill just like how he does. And when Mr. Zainuddin knows how to handle things like that in whatever situation, that I guess that make him a great entrepreneur. That's all for me now. Thank you for listening.
Based on what was discussed, we can learn it that a successful businessman must have a positive mindset like Mr. Zainuddin, who is the owner of this restaurant, always has a positive mindset even though he suffered a big loss. Still, he never thought negatively about the big loss he was faced with the possibility that his restaurant had to close. He always think there is a way to save his restaurant. In addition, they also give us motivation. If you want to succeed in business, never give up. This is because in business there are ups and downs, and failure is a natural thing for people who want to success. In addition, we must always remember that we are not the only ones who are taste and feel failure, and that every challenge faced must be faced calmly and with a solution instead of despair. In the meantime, the thing that makes this Abuya Steamboat business successful is the good personal attitude of its owner, like attitude that is quick to act. For example, the owner of the restaurant, which is Mr. Zainuddin, will always take immediately action if there is a problem that arises. Next, Puan Fatimah, also has a disciplined attitude in managing this business. For example, discipline about food care. He always ensure his employee take care of and store food, especially seafood that is difficult to take care of. This is that the raw food that will be served to its customer is clean and safe to eat. So, in conclusion, the proactive and responsible attitude shown by Mr. Zainuddin and Ms. Fatima needs to be evaluated by us and by entrepreneurs who have just started their business. Likewise, with the advice given, we can use it in the future. This is because developing a business is not easy as we think. It requires a lot of sacrifice in terms of time, energy, and money. Therefore, it is hoped that what we obtain from this study can be applied so that it can produce a successful result for us.